All right, welcome back. This is Tent Talk on Friday. Today has been pretty much constant rain all afternoon.
You can probably still hear it, to be honest.
I can. It's pretty mental. So we're gonna stick inside today. But yeah, it's been all around a pretty decent day for us here. Great day of racing. Every crew that's through today is now into the weekend, which is really exciting. So
weekend, baby.
We'll just take a bit of a walk and talk, I think. We'll start with the Forley.
Yep.
Hinksey knocked out Los Gatos, which means that there are no more international crews in the Forley.
That's
which
correct.
is really exciting, especially for UK junior sculling in
100%.
general.
I think just talking about the Folly as well is sort of that Windsor Boys crew. Obviously, they've been so strong throughout this year. I think it's just shown this week because you get to the Friday and you're like, right, this is where it starts to get quite hard. These crews have all beaten other crews. But that Windsor Boys crew just walked today.
Mate, Windsor Boys are looking really impressive there. You also had a bit more of a look at the Diamond Jubilee, which I did not.
I did indeed.
Thoughts on that?
It's looking more and more likely that we are going to see a Wycliffe, sorry if I butcher that, AB final. They still race tomorrow, but I think the way that the draw works, it's a potential. That A crew is obviously looking really strong. There's some really good talent in that boat. But that B crew knocked away a really strong Lee crew today as well. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I'd say our money was on, I think we'll move on to this, was a Headington Hingsgate final on the Sunday.
In the 8.
In the 8, but that didn't happen. But I think it's quite likely that it could be an AB final, which is really exciting and it's unbelievable for sort of that British crew. So yeah, I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, that was pretty good. In the pairs, we saw two British pairs. The girls, Greenstock and the Leander pair of Standing and Perry, get knocked out by some pretty big international names, whether they've just come off Olympic qualification or kind of didn't make their own internal qualification for the Olympic team.
Yeah.
But we've got some really strong pairs here, both on the women's side, but also on the men's side as well.
Yeah. Well, I actually just want to come back to your point about the Folly, about the British crews. So I was speaking. Sorry to go back a bit, but I was speaking to one of the coaches at Shiplake, and the quads for Shiplake is basically part of the second A. They were put into the crew 4 weeks ago, and they've just made it to the Saturday of Henley, which is
wild.
Wild.
There's a proper selection of those. The Star and Arrow boat with Jack Beaumont and Will Satch in it. Again, also, I had a conversation with Will in the lead up to qualifiers, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to be a pretty tough one."
Made
it through qualifiers and are now into the weekend, which is mental. We saw the first race of the Grand today as well.
We did indeed.
Which was basically the Canadian under-23s versus the US development men.
Yeah.
So relatively easy race there. US development men kind of took that on and kind of walked off with that one. So that was quite impressive for them. USA are now through to race Washington tomorrow, and we get to see a really exciting race of Leander versus Brooks, which is going to be the ultimate mashup of men's eights tomorrow.
100%. Yeah, I mean, keeping on eights, PE. We had Shiplake Radley today. I think speaking to quite a lot of people, we thought Radley would win that race. Ultimately, Shiplake have had some tough races this week already. Thought the legs might be gone slightly, but no. Shiplake came through, won that race by, I think it was 3/4 of a length, which was really, really strong from Shiplake. And it was really good as well because the walkouts, we had Radley and Boatbait R, Shiplake only 2 down, I think. And I had a parent come up to me and was like, "Were we the loudest there? Were we the loudest?" So it was really good to see these two schools, English schools, just competing against each other. The noise was immense. That Radley walkout, we all know. It's really loud. They get all the former pupils down. RADLYEY, something like that.
God, it's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. We'll have a wander past some of the Brooks boats here whilst we chat about a few other things. London A beat Thames B, and De Hoop seemed to have a pretty good one. So again, straight through. London
Yeah.
A is looking incredibly strong in the Thames this year.
So
we know
strong.
that they've seen some insane times at Marlow, and I think there's been some other speedy times throughout the year anyway.
Yeah.
But that definitely stood out to me. On the Club 8 front, Leander had another great race in the Wargrave. Looked pretty controlled.
Yeah. I mean, speaking about the Wargrave, Leander knocked out the final Sydney boat.
They did, yeah. Sydney Roan Club out.
Long way for Sydney to come across, obviously. But you know,
Yeah.
the Brits are too strong. You know?
The Brits knocked out Sydney in the Wargrave, and Thames B knocked out Avon, New Zealand, which I think was kind of like the big question mark there. Was they were on the side of the draw other to Thames A and Leander A, so we thought that they might be the ones to make the final. So now the options it's a little bit close, and of course there's still a few other names in it, but there is still the likelihood of either like a Leander A Thames B final or a Thames A Thames B final, which again would be awesome. Like those races are great to see. Although the actual racing on finals day isn't that exciting, the walkout and the like team vibes on those type of days when you know that you've already ticked the box. There's a red box and a trophy coming home with you.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
No, 100%. And you talking about it's only British crews that are left in the Folly. It's actually the same for the PE. So we've only got Eton, Shipley, St Paul's or Teddy's that are left. Which I think just holds to be such an exciting Saturday.
Yeah, it really does. Especially when people come from such a long way. It's really exciting to know that like the crews that have put in kind of like their entire season focusing on this regatta are still like doing pretty well out of it.
I mean, being the Brooks Boat Bay, we had the Oxford Derby today.
We did.
In the islands. We had Oxford University versus Brooks. I'd say it was a very competitive race the whole way down. Sort of neck and neck, pushing each other.
It was a great race.
And Brooks took the dub in the end of the Oxford Derby by only about half a length, I believe. But that's really strong. And talking about eights as well, in the boat race, eights, we saw Cambridge win today as well. So that heats up to be a really exciting Saturday. And there isn't a race that I can think of, a potential race tomorrow that isn't going to be exciting. I know we say sometimes about Sunday that it can be a wee bit hit or miss, but I think Saturday tomorrow, weather prevailing, could be a really exciting Saturday. There's a lot of big matchups coming.
Yeah, very true. All right, we'll run about this way. We'll rattle through as many as we can as we can. Durham A knocked out by Brooks B in the Temple, which was really exciting.
Well, actually,
so yeah, and I think there are definitely some gaps here of like looking at times and trying to work out like who's doing better and who's kind of like on pace. So you know, like Princeton crew do look faster over the course.
Yeah.
However, you never really know what games people are playing. Some people are playing games just to try and like scare the opponents, and other people are simply here to make it to the weekend or make the red box, which is kind of the whole point of it. And that means that maybe you give up a barrier record, or you give up a 40 record, or you give up a course record, especially in these conditions.
Yeah.
You going out there and trying to get a barrier record today is going to absolutely rinse you for your race tomorrow, even if it's not needed.
well, we didn't even know the times in the afternoon because they stopped timings because it was so wet.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a good fact. Fun fact.
Ireland, we had the Northeast boat race on the Henley course today. We had Newcastle A versus Durham A. Newcastle sort of held that half length off the island, maintained it the whole way. Durham started to come back as they started to get into that surge enclosure. It seemed like Durham sort of started that sprint really early. Did start to make quite a lot of progress on Newcastle. Then that Newcastle sprint, I think we all know it, we've seen it before. It's really strong, it's really quick, it's in the training and what they do. They just picked it up and sort of walked away from Durham. So it seems like Newcastle have the bragging rights there, but overall that was a really exciting race. And obviously you've got the Blue Star clapping them out on one side, you've got Durham on the other side. It was a wee bit like that Shipley Radley walkout where it's quite ferocious.
Yeah, we got some
walkout.
big. We're really down to like the big names here. I mean, if Jasper has like a little look around, this boat bay, especially Boat Bay G, is nearly completely empty. They end up being an absolute mess by finals day of just like polish and everything everywhere. But yeah, like wild stuff. Other things that other things that I did look at in the visitors, I was sat on the photo stand all day taking photos, and Brooks and Taurus went past me. As they went past, one of the guys in the boat very clearly was like, "Lads, job done, easy peasy." Like they had a great race against Cal B. Cal A also went out to the Leander under 23 project, Leander B. So again, like that's California out for 2 UK crews, but Brown University is still in, and you went out with them.
Brown
right?
University are still in it. They were up against sort of a Cambridge composite. Obviously, Cambridge are actually on a new boat because they snapped their rigger / snapped the boat.
Snapped the boat.
But that was a really good race. I mean, Brown just looked really fluid the whole race. Didn't look panicked at all. I think it ended a length and a half or so. But I wouldn't say they exerted too much energy in that race, and they look really strong for the weekend.
I definitely think, especially in the visitors, there are a few events that definitely like spring to mind, but the visitors especially is one of those events that currently still looks like all the semi-finalists have a chance
100%.
at taking home the win.
Yeah.
There's no one that like stands out as like walking the fields for everyone.
No.
Like everyone is like, you know, we'll see how the racing goes and whether people have had easier races than expected. But actually, like it's looking really exciting.
Yeah. I think another one to point out, it was unfortunate for UL today in the PA.
Yeah, going up against Brooks A on the Friday is a tough draw.
Yeah, like we all know you went to Brooks. Like we know how strong that squad is, and it tends to be that A boat, whatever it's in.
That PAA boat is insanely fast.
Yeah.
Insanely fast. I think we knew that UL were going to be kind of like up against it with that Brooks crew, but I don't think anyone truly expected them to have to race them on the Friday. Like we have seeded crews here, but at the end of the day, like you can still meet a seeded crew on the Friday and get completely knocked out, and whether you make it past the Friday or make it to the Sunday doesn't necessarily make you a faster boat.
Yeah.
If you want to take home the red box, you've just got to be able to beat every single person on their best day.
That is how it be.
That is it.
But no, that UL crew can hold their. I think they're quite a young crew as well. So there's definitely potential for more red boxes down the line.
We've got one more junior event to cover, which is Prince Philip.
We do indeed.
So I saw an absolutely great race, Headington versus St Catherine's. St Catherine's off to an absolute blinder, and I think a lot of people in Stewart's enclosure, from where I was sat, thought that the race was kind of over by the quarter mile. St Catherine's were up by about a quarter of a length to a canvas, and then suddenly on the progress board, the boats changed, and everyone kind of like, it was like a bit of a shock in the enclosure as Headington just started like absolutely pounding through it.
Yeah, well, talking about that race, it kind of already starts in the boat tents. Headington do their huddle, yeah, big scream. St Catherine's did it first. The scream wasn't the best. Headington thought, we can do better than that. And they roared the whole tent off, and it sort of already started from there, big walkouts. And yeah, I think the other race there was Row America Rye against Hingsky. So that's your US national champions against your British national schools champions. So that was a big matchup.
A big matchup.
Row America Rye were successful there. I think it finished about a length down, but maybe only 3/4 of a length.
It was a great race. There have been some really great races. Newport as well. I know that we were on the launch for that with the video team. And again, it's like a lot of these crews that are coming from internationals, as much as we say that a lot of them have been knocked out already, they have come here with one goal in mind, and it's to like go as far as possible.
100%.
And it's like they would not spend this amount of money if they didn't think that they could reach a certain goal.
No.
So it's really exciting to see like such great racing happening. Of course, you know, we're a little bit biased. We want to make sure that there's like at least a British crew in the final, even if they don't win. Watching a little bit like last year, we watched the Prince Philip with 2 American boats in the final, and I just felt like the vibe wasn't entirely there. I'm sure Henley Royal would like to disagree, and the international boats are really out there, but I think for us, we like watching how they match up.
100%. And obviously we're going to be slightly biased and say we want the British crews to do well. I mean, speaking about British crews, Eton, they've obviously got their head coach, Mr. Cross, that's leaving to Oxford as their new head coach.
Just fang the hole.
I'm not sure where their boat is. I'm pretty sure it's on one of the boat bays over there, but they've got a really nice message just behind the cock saying, thank you, Mr. Cross, which I thought was a nice touch. Sort of saying goodbye. So I think Eaton have definitely they're racing for something this weekend. They're definitely racing for that red box for their head coach's final. Henley as the Eaton coach. But ultimately, so do all the crews in the PE. You know, Teddy's have won it before, Eaton have won it before. Shiplake are looking to win it. Have Shiplake won it before? I'm pretty sure they have, the PE. I'm putting you on the spot here.
God, don't ask me like that. I think they have made the final of the weekend many, many, many times.
Yeah.
Jasper, do you know the answer to that one, Miguel?
I'm not sure.
No idea. Right,
But-
cool. I think we're going to wrap it up.
100%.
This was a great one.
It was really good. We did a research. It was much better than yesterday. Even though it was raining, we're in better moods today, which is a bit weird.
Mate, today has gone incredibly well. I'm so excited to go for a hot shower, have a Domino's, and go to bed.
Well, we could go to the Angel. But no, as always, images are all online at www.allmark.one.
Yeah, we've got a live draw tree on there as well, which is really good. We're going to make sure that that's updated this evening as well, so you can keep an eye on like who's got where and on what station. If you're on the top, you're on the close station. If you're on the bottom, we're on the far station. We'll chat a little bit more about that tomorrow and see how this rain's affected the stream tomorrow. But otherwise, I think we're
Quickly,
go for it.
Travelator was quite effective today.
And I think it's going to get worse tomorrow.
I think it will.
Anyway.
But we're going to end this now. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all of you watching, especially when you come up to us when we're working like today or whatever, saying, I love the tent talks. Keep that coming. Boost the ego ever so slightly. Don't mind it. But no, thank you for watching. Let's, might tap out.
Tap out. See you tomorrow, lads.